All right, man, peace. So, as we all know, there was a big story this week concerning Serena Williams and the former tennis great John McEnroe. He made a statement saying that if she competed on the men's tennis tour, that she'd be ranked number 700 in the world. It caused a bit of an uproar in the mainstream liberal media because, as I've stated on previous videos, Serena Williams is the mother goddess of the sports world. So he decided that he was going to come on the CBS Morning News. He also happens to be trying to sell a book. And they're going to basically put him on the grill. So let's see how he handles it.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious. That ball was on the line. Shaw flew up. It was clearly it.
They don't know. John is not even talking about tennis when he went through all that. He was talking about Coke. He's like the ball hit the line. He's talking about the 8 ball that hit that line of Coke on his table. He said chalk flew up. He mad because he wasted his money.
John McEnroe's fiery outburst on the tennis court earned him a reputation as one of the most iconic and controversial athletes in history. The Hall of Famer won 7 Grand Slam singles titles. He spent 170 weeks as the sport's top player.
Yeah, he did all that, and he spent 170 weeks as the sport's #1 player, but he has no right to say that Serena Williams would not conquer all men on the men's side of tennis, because he knows nothing about tennis. He knows far less about tennis than the average liberal woman in America who believes that Venus Williams or Serena Williams or any one of their brothers would dominate the men's side of the tennis tour.
Since leaving the tour in 1992, McEnroe has become an outspoken tennis commentator. He's pursued a variety of jobs and interests off the court, from TV host to art collector. He discusses his struggle to reinvent himself after retirement and his thoughts on the game today in this new book. But seriously, he joins us at the table. Good morning. Welcome.
Good to see you.
What's new?
All right,
What's going on?
Let's just start with the elephant in the room.
Also, notice on his book, he's sitting up in the judge's chair. So he's trying to present himself as an authority figure.
That's right.
Why was it necessary for you to say that anybody, Serena, couldn't beat the 700th player on the men's circuit?
As you know well enough, Charlie, respect Serena very much so, okay? And I was simply calling her on an NPR, which supposedly this is where you can say it like it is and you're going to get honest feedback.
Allegedly, you could say it like it is. Now, when you speak the truth, particularly as a man in Western society, you're going to be attacked by the mainstream liberal media. You're going to be attacked by the rather presumptuous, angry, and arrogant female liberals. Look on the left side. Look at Nora O'Donnell. She looks like she's ready for war. She looks more aggressive than Gayle King does. Why is that? Because the Caucasian woman is not in awe of the Caucasian man like the so-called black woman is. The so-called black woman, even though sometimes she will lash out at the Caucasian man, she still is not willing to bite the hand that feeds her. The Caucasian woman, on the other hand, believes that everything will work out for her, even if she confronts her man. But let's continue on. Let's see what happens here.
She's the greatest female player that ever lived. Then the lady said to me, I don't remember which one, but she said, why did you say woman? Why don't you just say the greatest, tennis player that ever lived? And so then I felt the need, however, unfortunately, I'm probably to defend myself. I don't know, just say what I really felt. I mean, which is...
That's a crime. That's a crime to say what you really feel or what you really believe. That is a crime. It's known as a thought crime. All right? That's part of the manipulation of today's society. What people rail on about, what they call political correctness. It is a crime to speak how you really feel, because you have to worry about everybody else's feelings. That's a way to shame, particularly shame men, into silence, because they know that the female brain, the female argument, is not based on facts, empirical data, rationale, or reason. It's just based purely on their emotions. If a man were to speak, most of the time a man's arguments or his statements are going to be based on rationale. What that is immediately going to do is to make the female feel dumb. And we can't have that.
is about what I think she would be. I think you're referring to the fact that I said she'd be about 700 in the world.
Yeah.
I've got a solution, Gail, though, because I know that you're friendly with Serena, and I think at least until yesterday I was.
Right now.
I'm just waiting. Would you like to apologize?
You see what Nora O'Donnell did? She said, I'm waiting for an apology. And you see how she leaned in like he's a child? All of this is the fault of the so-called Caucasian man in America. He was the one who allowed his woman to lead the so-called feminist movement, even though it was led by it was spurred on by the international bankers and led by the communist portion of America in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and so on and so forth. It was the Caucasian man's responsibility to nip this in the bud, seeing as this is his society and his country. He didn't do it. Now he has to watch his words, and now you got these guys trying to compensate for the power that they've lost by inventing these philosophies like MGTOW and all this other shit. All right? All that shit is nothing but a bunch of nonsense. You're supposed to put the woman back in her place by ignoring her, by starving her out, by cutting off her delusions, but they refuse to do it. And let's see how John handles this conundrum that he's in.
No, but
I like that. She asked him if he wanted to apologize. He said no. Let's rewind it back.
the offer is this. Because I know that you're friendly with Serena, and I think at least until yesterday I was.
Right now.
I'm just waiting. Would you like to apologize?
No. But
Good for him. At least initially, good for him. He said no. And how arrogant on the part of that female to tell him that he should apologize for stating his opinion. Now imagine if he would have said that Serena Williams would definitely beat the #1 male tennis player in the world. Would anybody have said, you know what, you really should apologize to Roger Federer or Novak Djokovic or whoever's '1 on the men's side right now? Would they have told him that? Or would they have patted him on the back and said, good job?
But the offer is this, is because it seems in tennis, unlike other sports, that they're always asking about how women, they always ask me how I would do for someone. Why isn't this old bag John McEnroe, how would he do against Serena? Why don't you combine, just solve the problem? I'm sure the men would be all for this. The men and women play together. And then we don't have to guess.
But John, you didn't answer.
In other words, what John is saying is that, you know what? I'm going to call you women out for selling wolf tickets. Let's have all the men and women play together. The reason why he said that is because he knows that these women know that Serena Williams cannot beat a real male tennis player. Serena Williams knows that she can't beat a male tennis player. So he's trying to cut through the bullshit and cut through the delusion. But it's already too far gone. You guys, like I've stated in the past, the woman is like a child. All right? They're pretty much just a half step above a child. And they love delusions. They love lies. They love fiction. As opposed to worrying about the things that make them great and strong, they want to try to usurp everything that men do. And their primary focus is being considered greater than men, which is an impossibility. It's never going to happen because you were created to be lesser than a man. The man was created to be your head. Simple as that. Does that mean that every man is smarter than every woman? Absolutely not. But the man was created to be the head of the woman. So, I mean, these continuous attempts and these frivolous attempts to always usurp the man's authority is really just nonsense. People like Nora O'Donnell, the only thing that she shows by her conduct is that her man or her male, her so-called husband, must be extremely weak and fragile.
Answer Charlie's question. You really should. You really do need to answer Charlie's question.
What was it? I didn't. You're right. It wasn't
necessary to do this.
Yes.
It wasn't necessary. It was not necessary.
You knew it would.
Why wouldn't it be necessary when he was purposefully asked why he wouldn't call Serena Williams the greatest tennis player? Now, if he would have said that unprompted, right, if they would have asked him, how great is Serena Williams? And he would have said, oh, she's the best female tennis player. And then they didn't follow up. And then he would have just said, well, and by the way, if she played against men, she'd get her ass whooped every time out. Then that would be a little bit more understandable, the mainstream media or the liberal media being incensed by his comments. But seeing as he was prompted and he was asked and he honestly responded, as usual, their protests to his statements are unfounded and ridiculous.
I didn't know it would create.
You didn't know?
John.
Has anybody ever?
The reason why he didn't know is because he figured it was common sense. But John McEnroe, the people today don't deal in common sense. They deal purely in their feelings. All right. We're under the energy of the mother goddess. This society is moved by the mother goddess. All right. The mother goddess. That's why you always see the statues of the mother goddess depicted with a child. All right. Because the woman is only a half step above a child. I don't know how many times I have to say that. All right. They must be catered to.
I've said this 1,000.
Bobby Riggs mean
Charlie,
anything to you?
what do you think, Charlie? You're a tennis guy. You like to play tennis. I see you on the tennis court. What do you think that Serena Williams would be ranked if she played in the men's
I have
game?
no idea.
Yes, you do. Stop lying, Charlie. Yes, you do. You know where she'd be ranked. And Charlie's 80 years old. He's too old to be trying to run with all this this modern day equality propaganda bullshit. Right? Charlie goes back to the day when women wasn't even allowed on the golf course that he was on. Where they wasn't even allowed on the tennis course that he was on. When he walked by a pretty woman and slap her on her ass and say, meet me in the locker room. All right? He probably slaps Nora and Gail on the ass on the way out of the studio. You know, as long as he got about 5 Viagra tablets in his pocket.
If you had a guess.
Well, she seemed pretty strong to me. I mean,
Very
Yeah, strong. She's strong as hell. It's a damn man. That's why she's seen allegedly.
strong. The greatest female player ever.
Okay, we can't. Nobody can prove this. Here's what she said, though. Just,
Yeah.
Dear John, that's a nice way to start.
Yeah.
I adore and respect you, but please, please keep me out of your statements if they are not factually based.
Now, please pay attention. Serena Williams, of course, you know, in the last few years, she has embraced her role as the mother goddess. She knows how she's viewed and she's venerated. She does not want to just be respected anymore. The fumes have gotten to his or her head, whatever the hell she is. And now she has accepted her role as the mother goddess. Now she said, I adore and respect you, but please keep me out of your statements. They are not factually based. So in other words, she's saying that she does believe that she can compete with men, which is contrary to what she said in the past. All right. But why is she saying that? Why is she trying to act like she can compete with men? Because she has a huge responsibility as a feminist icon. All right. She is the modern liberal black female. As I continually tell you, brothers, racialist, feminist, globalist. All right. She can come out and make statements about Black Lives Matter, but then she can go have a baby with a Caucasian man. Nobody says that she's taking her wealth to the white community like they do a affluent black man. And now she can come back and claim that she can beat a man. That's her feminist angle. All right. Or imply that she can because it's not factually based. In other words, I've never had a real match against a man for you to say that I will be ranked number 700. All right. This is what you brothers are dealing with now. This nonsense.
Based. Or that or not. She said they're not factually based.
You know, Serena's.
And look at her bottom comment. I've never played anyone ranked there, nor do I have time. Respect me and my privacy as I'm trying to have a baby. In other words, bow down to me because I'm the mother goddess. I'm bringing life into the world. And if I have a miscarriage, I'm going to blame you.
You know, has a way with words. I've been in the room 5 different times with 5 of my kids were born. And I don't want anything to go wrong with Serena because she's pregnant. I don't want to.
Look at Nora O'Donnell's face. Look at how her eyes got wide open. As usual, being a two-dimensional thinker, she didn't pick up on what Serena was implying, but John McEnroe did. John McEnroe said what he said because he understands what she was implying by that second tweet. That, oh, I'm pregnant right now. Please respect it. In other words, don't stress me out because if you stress me out, I might have a miscarriage. And if I do, I'm going to blame you. But look at this idiot Nora O'Donnell's face. Ronald McDonald with all that damn makeup on.
Upset her or whatever it was. I think she was doing it tongue in cheek as well. And I think that deep down, we're talking about something. I can't even believe we're talking about it. But
he can't believe it because it's so ridiculous. He knows that a female tennis player cannot beat a male tennis player, and everybody at the table knows it. But he's not supposed to say that she'd be ranked number 700 in the world because it makes it look like the female is far behind the male in the sport of tennis, which is the truth. But he's not supposed to say that because they have to promote and push the equality angle.
John,
nonetheless, if you want to keep talking about it, I'd be more than happy to.
I do. I actually do. Because I think everybody knows.
And another thing.
No, men are stronger. Men are faster. We all get that. But
And also men have larger organs, different hormones, a larger cerebral cortex. Yes, all that is true. All right. The female, they try to acquiesce to the men are bigger and stronger, which what they're trying to imply is that they're equal, or what many females believe, that they're superior to the man mentally. They try to imply that by always trying to accentuate the advantages that males have physically. They try to imply, but well, we have the edge mentally. No, where women have the edge is in their ability to, let's be for real, to connive, manipulate, and try to distort. That's what history tells us. And they'll find just enough men in the modern day time to feel sorry for them and to go along with the program. Right now, once again, this is why they're upset with John McEnroe, because he's not showing the required amount of respect, of honor, of deference to Serena Williams that they feel like is necessary.
But I think it sort of belittles what women do on the tennis court. I think that's why people are upset. And the fact that you ranked her 700. So my question to you is, she won Australia weeks pregnant. You ranked her at 700 on the men's. Where would you rank yourself?
What is any of that? What is the fact that she played on the Australian tour and beat those little regular women? If you know what I'm saying. She beat the regular women with allegedly having a fetus in her womb. What does that have to do with what he said about her being ranked 700?
Myself
Yeah,
would
where would
be.
you put yourself?
Now, you asking me at 58 years of age, would I be ranked in the tour if I had to play best of five?
Yeah.
Which is what the men have to do at majors?
Yes.
I would be currently about 1,200 in the world.
I mean, is it?
I mean.
And if that's really how he feels, that's how he feels. But I don't understand the relevance of her question, seeing as John McEnroe was at one time the #1 ranked player on the planet. So, like, really, what are you really trying to say? Are you trying to say that that Serena Williams is a better overall tennis player, or that Serena Williams would have beat him in his prime? Like, this is why I make these videos, brothers, to show you that they worship these female characters. Serena Williams is a mother goddess to these people. All right? It's very, very real.
I mean, I have a tennis academy at Randall's Island where I lose the kids that are 16 or 17, high school kids, and I would lose. There's pros I have 37 pros, Gail, at my club. 6 or 7 of whom on a bad day I would lose to.
Okay.
And we could go on and on. I was the former #1 player in the
John,
world.
what do you say to this? People just say, look, John McEnroe's trying.
This is so belittling to a former #1 player. Like, this is ridiculous. They actually have him on the grill for what he said. I mean, like he's some guy, like some bum off the street. This is like if Michael Jordan said, or say if Dr. J said, well, if Maya Moore played in the NBA, she'd be sitting at the end of the bench. Or how could you say that? Who are you to say that about Maya Moore? So what would you be doing if you were in the WNBA, Dr. J? Dr. J was in the WNBA right now at 64 years old. He'd probably be a 6th man coming off the bench. And I do mean 6th man, because all them broads in the WNBA, some of them might have penises too.
McEnroe's trying to get
Allegedly.
publicity for his book. That's all this.
Well,
he secretly wants
but
to
not this
play
way.
Serena. He secretly
I
wants
never
to play
wanted. I
Serena.
never wanted to play Serena. People always ask me about playing Serena. Did they ask Roger Federer about playing?
Okay, so let me.
Exactly. That's his point. He said, why do people keep asking me? I'm an old man. All right. If you really want to push your equality angle, go ask the #1 male player in the world to play her. And then we'll get our answer. Well, like I said, that's too much like cold water in the face of these liberal women. They don't want that. All right. Like I've told you, brothers, in the past, what most of these females they just want a response and a reaction. They want attention. They know that 99% of the things that they say are bullshit. All right. In their subconscious mind, they know it. They just prefer to keep it going because they like lies and they like delusions. It makes them feel better. All right. That's why they come on TV with 10 pounds of makeup on, push-up bras on, padded ass panties on, and wigs on, all that other shit. They can't take reality.
Let me come to the book. We don't have that much time, and we have
How much time do we have?
a couple of minutes.
30.
Forget the book.
No, we don't want to forget the book.
It's not in the book, this
But
part.
seriously, I mean, what is it you want us to take away from your story and understanding you?
In essence, hopefully that,
In essence, that he's a recovered burnout, former steroid user, coke head, alcoholic. All right, that's what John is. You can look at him and see that he's been through the ringer, and but he's still honest. He's one of the few. He's one of the last few public figures left who at least tries to act like he still got his balls. But they try to clip him, and they are gonna clip him a little later.
I'm trying to look at the glass half full, even being battered by these same questions over and over and over again. But that I've hopefully with some perspective and life experiences and things that have happened to me, that all in all, I feel like I'm in a better place and I can share some
And
of
your
those
wife,
with
Patty,
people.
says you're in a better place. You really credit her. Patty says you always wanted to be better at everything, a better father, a better person, a better human being. And she said that, and you say too, that you've changed on the anger front. How so?
He stopped taking on damn steroids, allegedly.
Well, it's a work in progress, Gail. But well, of course, I think my whole life. But I think, just when you started this segment, it was when, my most famous line, "You cannot be serious." So in a way, it's sort of, I admit it's somewhat pathetic in a way that's what we're still talking about. But I think it's also because maybe I've become a slightly more bearable person to put up with, and hopefully a nicer person, and that was something.
More sober person. But like I said, John McEnroe, he has all type of substance abuse issues. He also has race issues also. He talks about how he's a friend to Serena. There's a difference between people who are friendly to others who they feel like are on their level, as opposed to how they would treat somebody of that race, quote unquote race, who's a so-called regular person. All right. But it's still interesting to see how much they're pushing this female dominant propaganda, even on the so-called high-level Caucasian male.
Something that I went through that was great at the time, and I'm proud of that in its own ways.
What could you have done to have won more tournaments, more championships?
I could have gone to Australia the first 6 years of my career, for starters, when I didn't play there at all, and I could have trained perhaps a little bit harder. I trained hard. People say
you took steroids.
People say I didn't, but that's not fair or true.
No apology to Serena, really?
Look at that. They're still on the Serena thing. All right. They're still on the Serena thing. The whole goal was to take his nuts. All right. That's what the whole goal was. They weren't even thinking about his book. The whole goal was to emasculate him. That's what modern day America is about, is emasculation. You have to allow yourself to be emasculated or you will be removed. Charlie Rose is 80 years old. All right. He knows exactly what John McEnroe is talking about. If him and John were at the same tennis club, Charlie would say, "Look, John, I understand. I know it. Look, she's a big black baboon. She's got large shoulders. I get it. But I got to keep my job, John. And I can't be here on TV agreeing with you now. It is what it is. I mean, I got to eat."
Listen, I would be happy to apologize, Serena. Gail, if that makes you feel better. Anyone, I think Serena's incredible. Okay. And
All right, so now we're back with the CBS Morning News. They went abruptly to commercial because they were cutting John off due to the fact that they had no respect for him because he is choosing to not bow down to the mother goddess. This is the age of Aquarius. This is the age of woman worship. But now they're going to go back. They're going to give him a little time to publicize his book. But they're also going to give him some time to issue a mea culpa to the mother goddess, Serena Williams. So let's see how that goes.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning. We ran short on time in our last half hour, so we said to John McEnroe, please stay, because your book is really good. It's very revealing about who you are,
Thank you.
How you became who you became.
No, what happened was you guys went to commercial break and he said, "Look, you guys told me that I could come down here and publicize my book. You guys didn't come down here. You guys didn't tell me that I was going to have to come down here and be, and be tortured, damn Spanish Inquisition style over this broad. All right. Now, my publicist told me that I was going to get 10 minutes to talk about this damn book. If you don't want to get sued, you're going to give me another segment, goddammit."
Game.
He said, "You cannot be serious."
Appreciate that.
And why?
And why? And why? And why? The one thing that struck me was you really bond with artists and comedians because you said that you can see how they do what they do because they're solitary out there.
Well, I mean, obviously, you go to an art show and people look at it and you hear these comments, a lot of them pretty rough at times, and then I was on the tennis court, played a lot of matches where people would come out, you're a bum, you're a jerk, which you're apparently saying right now about what I said about Serena. And
There's no need to worry about what people say when you speak the truth. All right, certain people are not going to like it. It is what it is. But, in their spirit, people know when they hear the truth. They know that Serena Williams cannot compete with men on the men's tour, and she knows it.
And I think going to a stand-up comedy place and seeing comedians lay it out there bare, I mean, at times I felt naked out there myself, and that's a rough business. So
You love this game, John McEnroe.
I do love it.
Yeah.
I do love it. I wanted to see him go in the wrong direction, and I'm concerned it's not going in the right direction. I think that the game is not accessible, affordable enough. It's like the 1%, the rich are getting richer. I just disagree with the direction that we're headed generally, but specifically tennis to me is sort of like a microcosm. Not enough kids can afford to play. It's not sexy enough.
Well, tennis was set up to be an elitist sport here in America. But tennis does come from the Elizabethan, or really the Tudor dynasty era of the English monarchy, which were black people. All right, King Henry VIII, he played tennis. All right, he was a so-called black man. But that's another topic for another day.
We got to do more to try to get people on the court.
You also said being angry on the court made you a better player. How?
Well, I got more intense, and I think I dug a little deeper, found an extra gear. Maybe, God forbid, threw my opponents off a few times, or whatever way you have to get it done. I did.
Certain athletes are able to perform well with anger. It's very rare, but you do have that. Michael Jordan was very good with that. But some athletes, they get angry and they totally lose all of their composure. They forget what they're supposed to do and they cannot execute. But certain athletes, they can get angry and perform better.
And I didn't do that deliberately. Some people won't believe that. Later on, perhaps, when it became obvious.
You didn't play for the camera at times or the crowd?
Gail, I swear to you, in the beginning, it was just me as a kid trying to change the sport and bring it to the masses the same way that people look at football and basketball, all the other games. I mean, they're not saying hello, how are you on the football field. But just
Who's the greatest player today?
Roger is.
Roger is.
Roger's the great.
You better say Serena. If you want that book to come out, you better say Serena.
Greatest, and Rafa. I mean, they've both had renaissances. One won the Australian, the other French. It's incredible. I mean, I look at these guys. I mean, I admire Roger, but the way he's done it, how much he loves it's what I really respect.
But in terms of the history of tennis, is it Rod Laver, or is it Roger, or is it someone else?
Well, wait a minute, Charlie. According to you, it's Serena, isn't it? You said there's no way that we can know. I said, well, we really don't know. No, motherfucker, you know. You know who the best tennis player ever is. That's what, if I was John, I would have asked him. I said, wait a minute, Charlie. You just gave me hell for not saying Serena's the greatest. Isn't Serena greater than Rod Laver and Roger Federer? That's what I would look him dead in his face and ask him. Is she better? Oh, shit. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Let's go to commercial.
My rankings would be Roger, Rafa, close second. Rod Laver was my idol. Then I throw Pete Sampras in. He's the greatest fast court player. Serena Williams at 5.
Serena Williams at 5. She beat every other man except for those 4 guys, right?
And number 6, Novak Djokovic. Okay, you happy now?
Yes, I'm happy.
Brought me out.
Yes, I am.
Serena, have a great time with it.
You see how he made that prayer hand sign? Because he even understands subconsciously they worship this female, Serena Williams, and he has to show obeisance to her. He has to show that she's above him. She's the mother goddess of the sports world.
With the baby and
Because there really is no need to compare men and women. I think that's the point that we're all.
well,
how come that's all you do then? How come that's all you do? Your entire platform is based off of the fact that you're equal to a man. So then, how come when he does it, he's wrong when the truth comes out that she doesn't compare? See, that's the hypocrisy of these moronic liberal women. He was asked a question The woman asked him, how come Serena, you just can't call her the greatest tennis player, period? He was asked that question.
How can we always do it then in tennis and not other sports? Go call the athletes in the other sports
Go ahead, John. Let them know. Let me rewind that back.
and ask them. Brought me out.
Yes, I am.
Serena, have a great time with the baby.
Because there really is no need to compare men and women. I think that's the point that we're all.
Well, how can we always do it then in tennis and not other sports? Go call the athletes in the other sports and ask them how they would do.
Like the WNBA and the NBA.
Well, exactly, or whatever sport you want to choose. But for some reason, damn that Bobby Riggs in 19 when he played Billie Jean King, and he threw the match. But no, I'm kidding. Right?
No, you're not kidding. He threw a little cherry bomb in there. He said Bobby Riggs threw the match against Billie Jean King, that dyke from back in the 70s. He knows what happened. He knows that was an inside job. That shit was orchestrated to help push Title IX and a lot of the female reforms that were going on during the 70s. They organized that bullshit match with Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean King and had him throw the match to make it look like she could beat him, so that they could push the funding for female sports. John threw that out there, and act like he was kidding. No, he wasn't kidding. John wasn't kidding at all. He knows exactly what happened with that whole situation.
If you hadn't,
But that's a whole other story.
oh, watch out, Tom.
Oh, he sounded like me. That's a whole other story. John know what's up.
Tomorrow.
I'll be back tomorrow at 8:15.
If you hadn't found tennis, would it have been art or music?
I think that's a good question.
No, you a rich white boy. You probably would have ended up on Wall Street selling stocks and bonds and snorting up coke in the bathroom.
I was a terrible artist, but I do love art and collecting it, and then walking down the stairs in the morning and seeing a great piece of art is inspiring.
Yes, it is. I love art also. I agree.
But it would have been awful nice to be a guitar player like Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones.
You loved hanging out with them.
I can't deny that.
Patty can't be a great tennis player and be a great musician too. So
Well, you guys are great at more than one thing, and so I'm thankful that I was good at one thing.
all right, John, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You were incredible to watch.
I appreciate it.
Great to have you here. But Seriously is on sale now, and we look forward to seeing you tonight. You're going to be on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, right?
I mean, listen, I thought I was busy, but this guy just came back from Russia.
Yeah.
An hour ago or something.
All right, John, we'll see you
watching.
Yeah, they're like, all right, John, get your ass up out of here. We got a little half-hearted apology from you, but you better get right or you might come up missing. All right? But John know what time it is. John know the game. He knows that they're trying to push Serena Williams to disrespect the men, and he took it as a disrespect, and he should. For them to call her the greatest tennis player ever, no, she could never be the greatest tennis player ever. She could be the greatest female tennis player. All right, and she barely beat a record that some other female had. Like, they act like nobody could even compete with her. Like, look, I'm on record as saying I think that the broad is a tranny. It is what it is. People can get mad at that. I really don't give a shit. The hypocrisy of the so-called black community is hilarious to me. You got all these black men worshiping her backside on that osculum infame, that ass worship cult. And then you got the so-called liberal black woman talking about how great Serena Williams is, even though she's running her off having a child with a so-called white man. Right? These are the same people who will tell you that when an affluent black athlete, male black athlete, so-called black, has a child with a non-black woman, that he's taking wealth out of the black community. Right? But when Serena Williams does it, I guarantee you will not find one so-called black woman who will call her out for that. Not one. All right? Liberal black woman. But anyway, that's part one. Peace.